Let's go to the arcade, the Technos Arcade. What's going on, everyone? It's Rich Haywood here from Bacon Ice Cream Productions and Team RTFC, welcoming you to yet another episode of Good Times with Retro Rich and Fun for Five. That's right. We have gotten ourselves back into the Fun for Five game. We're going to be playing some Technos Arcade today. We were going through all the arcades. This is Arcade Week Takeover here on the channel. Evercade Arcade takeover, I should say, where we're going to be going through 1 through 6, where there will be a special episode where in the midweek on Wednesday, we're going to get Gallico Arcade 1 and 2 at the same time. We're going to do Rich's Picks and all that other fun stuff. So without any further ado, you know what? Let's just go ahead and jump right in to some Technos Arcade 1 on the Evercade VS. Let's go. All right, here we are in the box, here ready to talk some Technos Arcade 1. Just going to go over through the different titles, give you some some thumbs up, some thumbs down, things that I thought were really cool and not. Maybe we're going to get into some gameplay, not too sure. In case I wanted to make a point, maybe we'll jump into a game. But you know how these usually roll. We go through the screen here, and I kind of like give you the up and down and all that kind of stuff. So starting with Battle Lane Volume 5, we're gonna go ahead and hit select here. It's a shoot 'em up, very much in the style of I would say like a Road Blasters, Spy Hunter. It definitely kind of has that evokes that feel of that kind of game. However, this one to me is a little bit of a miss. I don't know, maybe it's just because things are just hitting you right away. It is an arcade game. It is, it does want the monies. Like put those quarters in and let's go. But I just, jumping into the game, I just didn't feel that there was enough progression for me to kind of get that hook in. Right, I'm not getting far enough in the game before I'm getting wrecked by all the bullet hell that's being thrown at you. So I don't feel like I'm actually progressing as far as I need to be. So Battle Lane is a little bit of a miss. I would actually probably not recommend playing this one. I know it's a bad way to start off, but anyway, let's go. Let's keep going. 2 Block Out. This is a 2-player puzzle game. So you can play 2-player on your Evercade VS, which is cool. Most puzzle games in the arcade, usually have some kind of multiplayer or at least turn passing, multiplayer component to it. I love puzzle games. You guys know that I love puzzle games, so you guys absolutely know that this is going to be a Rich's pick, and here it is. This is the first Rich's pick, is Block Out. It's cool. It really kind of makes you think about things. It really kind of twists stuff around on you. It definitely is a fun one for sure. And if you're into puzzle games and you want to play one that's just a tad different than maybe you've been playing the old Tetrises or the Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, or any of those kind of games, your Dr. Marios and all that kind of fun stuff. You want to play some other puzzle games, and you just want something to come out of left field, this is one for you. I definitely recommend this one. Block Out definitely does get the Rich's pick. We move on to Double Dragon 2 The Revenge. Now, easily is probably one of the better beat 'em ups as far as the arcade stuff goes. I like Double Dragon 2. It is cool. I like the Double Dragon franchise. Double Dragon 1 on NES is probably one of my favorite beat 'em ups of all time. And I can definitely say with certainty that Double Dragon 2 is definitely up there. I mean, I would play the NES version of Double Dragon 1 over this game any other day of the week, but we're not talking about console games. We're talking about arcade games, and this one is a great beat 'em up. I definitely recommend this one. There is some wacky things, of course, Double Dragon 2 does have that weird punch thing where you're punching per arm, and you have to make sure that you're pushing the directional in the right way, and then you're hitting. It does get me a little bit, but as we're going to go through, there is another one that is not going to get a pick. This will get the richest pick, but let's just move on to the next one here. But Double Dragon 2, definitely worth your time, for sure. Double Dragon 3, the Rosetta Stone, however, I don't know. I think you're gonna have to miss that one. I mean, it's cool. You want to throw some quarters in to find out what happens. You can play it. It's fine. It's okay. It's definitely better. I would say you'd probably have a better time playing this than you would playing the shoot 'em up, that we started out with. But it's not amazing. It's kind of cool. You can get 3 players in here. That's kind of neat. But the performance of the game isn't stellar. It's just kind of like weird and quirky. Not amazingly the best, but there is some fun to be had. It is a Double Dragon game after all, so like there is some cool things to be had. But I mean, it's not amazing. It's not amazing. Anyway, so we're gonna move on to Mania Challenge. Now, a lot of people actually like this game. I've heard people talk a great game about this. However, I will say, as the first line here says, as professional wrestler Dynamite Tommy, the time has come for you to face off against the fierce fighters of the TWF. Pass. I'm just going to tell Dynamite Tommy, it's not your time. It's not your time to get in the ring. I just don't. I don't know. I don't understand why you can have a wrestling game with all these like bright, colorful characters, and then you're Dynamite Tommy. They could just put it in, boom, you're the one character. It's kind of weird. I mean, I know you can do like the 2-player thing, but in the single player, you just prop in your quarter. You just, you're this guy, and the first guy that you face against just takes you to town. Just takes you behind the woodshed and just works you up. I mean, it's really what happens. And I know it could be a get good situation, but I'm telling you, it was not a pleasant experience playing Mania Challenge. But there are some people that like it. There's some people having a good time. Just not for me. Does not get the pick. Does not get the pick. So we only have 2 rigid picks so far. Let's see how we get going on the next one here. Let's go to Minky Monkey. Now this one is really, really cool. It definitely kind of gives you vibes of like a Donkey Kong. Was it Donkey Kong Jr. or Donkey Kong 3? No, Donkey Kong 3 was a weird one with the bees, right? All right. Anyway, one of those Donkey Kong games where you had to transfer between the different vines or whatever. And this one is kind of similar, where you have to like find these fruits, and you have to put them either up or down in order to score points. But the other monkeys that are running around, are trying to either get you or the fruit, and they can beat you to the punch, so to speak. And you got time on your running against you. You've got all sorts of crazy stuff going on. So Minky Monkey definitely is one of those games that it'll get you, but it does get you coming back for more. You can progress. You can drop that quarter in, play a stage or 2. Maybe not the first time you play, but the next time you get in, you can really kind of get in there and really have a good time with it. So this one does get a richest pick, and I didn't expect it to be honest. I this kind of came out of nowhere, and it was one of those games. I was like, oh man, this is actually really good. So worth your time. So play some Minky Monkey. We go on to Mysterious Stones, which again gets a richest pick. Again, kind of out of nowhere, I was like, Mysterious Stones, what the heck is this? But it's a really neat kind of like action adventure game where you're running around trying to get these different treasures out of this the set of crypts or caves, and it's just the whole aesthetic of the game is really neat. It's kind of brutal in some aspects, but once you get around how to play the game, you can actually really have a great time. It does kind of like, it invites you back in to do some more, which I think is awesome. And it's great for any arcade game that wants you to you know what, I want to put in that extra quarter, I want to keep going. That's the sign of a good game. And I definitely think that Mysterious Stones is one of those games where you know what? It definitely is worth your time and definitely worth the riches pick there. So, and then we finally wind up on the Combra Tribes, which was actually it was actually the game, I think, that was most heavily associated with the reveal of the VS itself. It had those sounds directly from this game that were in all the preview trailers and all that kind of stuff, where they didn't actually necessarily announce what was coming, and a lot of people in the Facebook groups and on Twitter and all that kind of stuff jumped right on it. It was like, oh, Combat Tribes, this is awesome. And that means we're going to get a Technos collection even before it was announced and all that kind of thing. So it was kind of cool. And then we got the game, and it's actually pretty cool. It's actually really neat. It's a good beat 'em up. I definitely enjoy playing this game. I think it's worth the time. And it's another 3-player beat 'em up, so you can get 3 people around the couch and go to town on this game. It's cool. I like the big giant sprites in this one. Like everything just seems like so much larger than life. And one of the guys looks like basically if you put a what is it, like a spiky hawk mullet on Arnold Schwarzenegger, I think is like kind of like how one of those characters kind of looks, at least to me anyway. It's cool. It's fun. Based on the fact that you can have like that infinite quarter thing, excuse me, you and your buddies can just sit down and just go through this game, kind of relaxing, just kind of plow through it and have a good time, which most beat 'em ups, that's kind of what they're all about. So this definitely gets the richest pick. So now we go back to the main menu here. What are our richest picks? Just to review before we go to the wrap up, we got Blockout, we got Double Dragon 2: The Revenge, we got Minky Monkey, Mysterious Stones, and Comet Tribes. Now that's 5 excuse me, 5 out of the 8. That's more than half of the collection, which means I think as a collection, the collection is a good time. So definitely take a look at this one and play some games. If you've got I think you've got a VS and you have this one, I'm imagining. But if for whatever reason you got a VS and didn't get this, got a second hand or whatever, and you just don't have a copy of Technos, a good one to get. So let's go to the wrap up and talk a little bit more about that. All right, folks. So that was Technos collection, or Technos Arcade one on the Evercade VS. Definitely worth your time. And even those games that didn't necessarily get the full-on richest pick, they're going to be for somebody. That's the beauty of Evercade. Like, you get a whole bunch of games that sometimes you like, sometimes you don't. And I think it's really an awesome time. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into our next Fun for 5, doing a little recording, trying to get these done so we can get you to the end of the next week, having all of these fine videos for you. So while I go off and record the next couple videos, and as you are seeing them all throughout this week, go on ahead, grab your Evercade, grab some arcade carts, play them along with me, and then we'll see you on the next one. And of course, until next time, we will catch you next time for some good times. I'm Rich, and we will see you later. All right, take it easy, guys.
RTSC.baconicecream.com